what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Theo and I love to talk about horror movies. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Now, before I get started on the actual review for this film, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. I hit a big milestone at the beginning of this year at 250,000 views on this channel and 300 subscribers, and I really appreciate everything that you guys do, and I can't tell you just genuinely enough how thankful I am for all the support. And I'll do an actual full thank you video here in a few days just to appreciate and show my gratitude on that. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into this review of Dr. Kellison and his lost stray puppy dog, Samson. I'm just kidding, but genuinely, that's what a lot of this film is kind of centered around. This film, the vocal point for it is initially Dr. Kellison's character and Samson form this big friendship that turns into what we hope and believe might be an actual cure for the virus that is affecting everybody in the world. I want to say probably the first about 50 minutes of this film is almost essentially Samson and Dr. Kellison forming this bond, this friendship, that is basically Dr. Kellison spiking Samson with these morphine darts that causes Samson to feel less like a zombie and more like what he did whenever he was a human. And yes, before anybody makes a statement about it in the comments, there are in fact several scenes, just like in 28 Years Later, of a bunch of infected flopping Pringle cans. But the hope is that Dr. Kellison can establish some type of realism and reality back to Samson, where he can start to realize the memories of which he had whenever he was a human that is being faded out by this virus, and he's trying to figure out what Samson sees because of the virus. And we see a clip that kind of shows Samson attacking another zombie or an infected in this movie, and you see that he also visions them as this zombie-like monster creature, and that's why he is attacking them all. That's why they are so ruthless and so rabid. That's because they're all terrified of each other. And we get that speculation whenever Dr. Kellison starts hitting Samson with the morphine drip, and he becomes less and less like an alpha and more like he was before he turned into one. I will go out on a limb here and say that Ralph Fiennes' character of Dr. Kellison in this might be one of my favorite throughout this whole entire franchise. Everything that he does in these last two films really sets him apart from anybody else. Even Jim in the first film, it really pushes him up there with just the stardom of that Cillian Murphy. And, Ralph Fiennes speaks for himself, on that aspect of star power. But he's really, really good in these movies. Probably my favorite character so far in these movies. I love everything about him. I love everything that he's done in the past two films. Really wish he would have made it to the third, though. Dr. Kellison's character is incredibly smart, logical, witty. He's funny, but at the same time, he's very spiritual, very metal. There's a 5-minute scene where he rocks out to Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast, and it was like a full-out metal concert in front of the Bone Temple. It was fucking incredible. Now, on the other side of the plot point for this, we have the Jimmies and Spike had to basically fight his way into the Club of Jimmies. And St. Jimmy is played by Jack O'Connell, who is really fantastic in this film as well. Him and Ralph Fiennes, they kind of bounce off each other a lot in this film, and it's really good. Both of them are very standout characters. I like Jack O'Connell in horror movies. I think he did fantastic in Sinners as well. But there's just this presence in this film for him where he plays the schizophrenic Satanist who is hearing voices and believes that he's being told by the devil himself to go out and cause all this utter chaos and destruction. And that's the only way that he'll be reunited with his dad. And he believes that Satan is his dad, and that's why he's having to do all these things. So it's a lot to take in. But at the same time, it's done so well by Jack O'Connell that you frequently believe and genuinely believe that this man is inhabited by Satan himself. So what do I like about this movie? I like this movie's cinema. I think it was shot just as well as 28 Years Later. And I think there was a lot of really fantastic cinema shots and atmospheric shots in 28 Years Later that really made it one of my movies of the year last year. This one I would say is a little less than that because there aren't any super slow-mo shots or any magnificent bridge scenes where they're running across this ocean. But it is shot very well in detail. It's very atmospheric, very cinematic, and it really captures the essence of what's going on in a post-apocalyptic world. I also really enjoy that this is probably the bloodiest 28 years that we've had in the history of this franchise. There's a lot more gore, a lot more like ripping apart of things, a lot more chaos and destruction, and a lot of it has to do with the Jimmies, and a lot of it has to do with the infected, of course, but there's a lot more blood and gore and what you would hope to, expect from an infected movie. And I like that a lot, that they're raising that stake in this film. I also genuinely really enjoyed Jack O'Connell in this movie and Ralph Fiennes. Like I said before, both are very standout characters that I truly hope get some type of recognition whenever it comes to the award ceremonies this year for this film, because they rightfully deserve it. And then lastly, I think the story is tying well together for what is supposed to be a trilogy for the 28 Years franchise. I think that this trilogy has a lot more narrative and story than the whole entire franchise itself, and I think it's being pieced together very well within the trilogy. I think the cliffhanger at the end of this movie really sets up that last film as we get Cillian Murphy coming back and reprising his role as Jim, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger as he sees Spike and one of the Jimmies running away from the infected toward the exact same house with the same car and everything that was so nostalgic that they left off with 28 days later. Except he's not being joined by Selena, and he has a daughter named Sam now, who is probably about 13, 14 years old, who I think is going to be a badass in the upcoming film. My predicting for the ending of this trilogy is going to be that the upcoming characters from this film, along with Jim, are going to find Dr. Kelson's, basically his cure, because we found out that Samson almost, we assume, turns back into a human or something very close to, but he still has all the strength and the agility and all the powers of what the infected have. So maybe he's this hybrid thing. I don't know for sure, but we have this assumption that Dr. Kelson was coming up with a cure, and I think that's going to have a lot to do with this final film. What didn't I like about this film? I did not enjoy the fact that they killed off Dr. Kelson. That's probably my only big gripe with this. I think that he should have been carrying this whole entire trilogy because, like I said, for the last little while now, probably the best character that this franchise has seen outside of Cillian Murphy. So why do it? Why put him down? I get it. Maybe there's something that's going on with it. Maybe it's a spiritual thing to tie it all together. I have no idea. I think he should have wrote out the franchise, though. So what's my overall going to be for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple? I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Just because you killed off Dr. Kelson, you're not getting a 5-star from me on this one. Other than that, this film, I believe, in my rightful opinion, is probably the second best in this franchise outside of 28 Days Later. A rightful masterpiece in its own that is carrying this franchise forward, carrying the virus forward, carrying the infected and zombies trope forward, whatever you want to call it. It's a very fantastic film, great cinema, all around great atmosphere, great acting, great star power. It's a fantastic movie. Go and check it out. But that'll do it for this one for me, guys. I truly appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Check under your beds, and stay safe out there, everybody.